Okay, so I got the Ryan bot running here on a $5,000 account. And we made it to 7,400. And now we have just cut the account in half because the Ryan bot got in front of this vacuum on the euro dollar. And I'm going to say it blew up the account in the sense that we're down at least 30%. So if we have an account that is at, let's say, $1,000 account, and we're going to trade a standard lot, and we're going to rest 10% of the account. That means we're putting a 10 pip stop on this account. We're going to risk $100 on a standard lot. And if there's no spread and there's no commissions, let's just imagine that world. Just so we can do the math. What's available to us with a $1,000 account? And I know this is a $5,000 account, and it's trading like a martingale pig, but it wouldn't make much difference because it is so fucking wrong about this trade. It's selling into that explosion on the euro. And it's wrong because it can't see the structure. And I guess it's just laziness. It's like a smart car. Do you really have to fucking pay attention? If the car's going to drive for you, now you're really going to atrophy. Now you're really going to get fucking corona. So I was just having fights with these motherfuckers on the internet about the corona. Dude, they're cooking the books. It's a business. They have to have the corona thing going because it's a meme they won't let go of. Can you see how it is? By the way, how'd that bear market trade work out on the S&P 500? Kind of just dilly-dallying. That was your sell today into this vacuum up here. So the Ryan bot cannot see these holes. It can't set up these trades. This is a painstaking process of just, and no offense to Ryan Brown, he's just a kid. You can't shortcut a well-designed car, a well-designed anything. And I mean, bit by bit, block by block like this, and seeing the whole narrative play out, the volatility versus lack of volatility, and placing your orders in such a manner to catch a falling knife, not the way he's doing it. His robot, so here's the flaw. I got a quick fix for it. Somebody sent me the decompiled code. I haven't had a chance to look at it. But some of the stuff you don't bother looking at because you know that's a rabbit hole, that's a road to nowhere. It's illogical. It's like the corona people. Emotion trumps fear. Emotion trumps logic. Fear trumps logic. So today there was a trade available, look just like this, on the euro dollar market goes scripting down. So we take off on the euro dollar. And what was the trade today? Now, I had to go in at the market because I babysit the market, and I usually trading all day long. So in various increments, maybe 50K, maybe 200K max, because this move here is worth about $2,500 on a this is like a 150 pip move. And I attribute this move to, you could say on this 1 hour chart, you can make all these claims, and I'm just going to go through the typical claims, but it's not going to help you make money, because unless you get in on this thing and see what's happening on a blow by blow moment during this phase, and this is kind of like this is in the morning, so the Dow Jones is about to open here. Actually, the Dow opens, and there's a void. There's a looming void, and it's here. But what's more important is the one that's here, and I'm just showing that. Let me delete these arrows. I'm just showing the wicks, the wick tips. Don't worry about the line right now. That's for trend traders, but and volatility, price over time, strict price over time on the 1 hour chart. A whole different world. There's only 24 hours in a day, but these wicks are where people are getting killed. So say you went long here, and I could describe a million what I've read in books and approaches, and it just goes on and on. You have to pick the one you feel comfortable with, but I'm going to do a hybrid because I cannot just live by assuming that the market's going to turn on a dime at the end of the hour, or it's going to turn on a round number, which is blew through the round number here, so it doesn't mean shit. Like this move here, so I don't know. This is why People say this is a manipulated market. All markets are manipulated. It means people are trading them. And that's another contention. Because I got in this kind of scuffle with this guy, Top Live Traders, this like a younger version of Akil Stokes. And I'm like, dude, this is bullshit. He's like, I said, well, you're doing fundamentals and you're trying to queue up the news with, well, you see the Corona thing here, and this was at this point in the S&P, so it's a good reason to go long. See, but you're late to the move. It's like saying that after this 1 hour in golf, where you auction below, like you take out the low of the day so far, but what's even better is you take out the low of the middle of this. And I'm going to say this is very important. The fact that it didn't take out Asia's low, that doesn't matter so much, because this consolidation, this becomes a trading range where people are doing business and they're like, buy, sell. But there's other things on top of this. And this is the kind of typical transactions that go on during the day. So it's either accumulation or distribution if you're going to come from the school of Wyckoff. But then you'd have to say, well, where are you? When did you jump the creek? And if you knew what that means, to jump the creek, where are you getting in? Before the jump of the creek? So are you going to get in when they trap? And I'm just going to say they come into this hole here and take those wicks. Are you going to get in there? You could have gotten there in Asia. So I got in there in Asia pretty heavy, because I go, you got to be kidding me, because this move is so violent down, right? That's such a screaming move. Kind of not as screaming as up. But what is the cause for that screaming up move? It is the stop. It is the new low. I'm going to call new low was hit. This is the dumbest shit you've ever heard in your life. But if you get in there with a standard lot, the 30 pips stop was $300. Okay, that's how you make X a day. Or you put a fucking $1,000 stop and you just made $8,000. Obviously, right? Here, once again, a whole different scenario. Here you have to risk more, because they come back, they hit this stuff and then rip. Now, did you have to be there for the trade? No, but it helps, because if you look at the 5-minute chart, so I bought here and we come to the floor. Most people are scalping out at the floor, if you consider this the floor. It rips down. This is like 30 pips. Rips back up. If you're watching on the 5, you go, no, that is going to take out this. So the whole time everybody's looking at this void. I'm sure this is all that we knew up to this point. We know this top exists. We know this top exists. And see how they trap here. And that scalper's coming off of that. Very nice scalp. So I've been getting into selling lately. And I'm using a technique to make it psychologically appropriate. I'm selling on stops sometimes, like a goober. But I'm trying to I'm writing these new scripts that are going to be, okay, I'm not going to be able to duplicate the ones I bought on the buy side, because it's a 5 decimal brokers. I literally putting in stuff like buy at 378. That's 37 and an eighth tenth of a pip. So these are bizarre. These are bizarre things. And I kind of just, when I write them, I have a cringe feeling like, I'm kind of just going on a guessing here, because I'm not good with numbers and I can't picture the graph in my mind. Is this going to be am I leaving enough space? I want to make it random, but I don't want to be clustered too tight. And how many times do I press the button? So I know I'm going to get stopped out of some of these limits. And when the market was screaming down today, they took out my limits. I wanted to be getting to at least 80 to 120K. Because the way I'm trading it, I'm taking $50 off the table within the first 15 minutes. So if they smash down, I put in my own custom. It's like having custom pre-written scripts that are not what Ryan's bot is doing. Is set it like, oh, you set it at 5 grid. So if you're going to trade the Ryan bot, you got to have it set. If you think volatility is coming, you got to set the grid to 20. But that's still going to be what I've been doing with Ryan's bot, is I'm taking profits off the table when I see them available. So I got up to 4,700 from $5,000. Wasn't bad in 2 weeks, but it's no way to trade. That's very sloppy. I don't know. It's making money, but if that's the case, why are you selling the robot? Just let it churn the fuck away. I mean, put it on 5 computers and let it churn. Why you go through all that? I don't know. everybody asks that question. Why is this guy selling a course? Because trading's a lot of work. I figured it out. To make money today, any day in these markets, you might only make 40 pips. The market's like, when it's really quiet, it is difficult because now the spread's your enemy. If the market's only trading 20 pips a day and the spread's 10, you can't even, you got to be so fucking good. Are you serious? You got to have a 100 pip move. You know, that's, so I'm trading at the market if I have to. If they force me to trade at the market because I know I want to be in big, and when the market smashes down, like any of these big moves, I just start selling with a 50 pip stop, a 100 pip stop. Boom, boom, boom. Now you think that's peanuts, dude? I'll put out 20K with a 100 pip stop, a 20K with a 50 pip stop, another 20K. Next thing you know, you're risking $1,000 to make about 5,000. But it's all incremental because why would I paint with such a broad brush and think that I know the best price to get into this chart? You can see these nooks and crannies, but what if you don't get filled? What if they don't take it down and take out the low of Asia from back here? Like, you don't know. You don't fucking know, because look how this, I mean, you kind of know that when you take out the high of midday, there's sellers up here. And this is why Sam Seidel from the Trading Academy, so I was looking at this guy, I thought, yeah, I don't get it, because he understands what I'm saying, supply and demand. I got it. He can't put the fucking trade on. It's too much work, dude. So my workaround for it was to kind of they call it labor saving device. So I got like all these scripts. I can say, okay, and it's taken a while to, like, I'll write them and then I have to live with them. So I'm like, okay, 4 pips to 12 pips deep for a half hour. Yeah, that's a 3K. Now it might look like peanuts to you, but I can stack this whole thing. I can put like a 40K, and I don't want to, if I wait 15 minutes and do it and the market moves a little bit, I can do those same scripts. Now that's the work. I got to come back every 15 minutes and lay that fucking thing. For 15 minutes, I have a constant 15-minute risk, and it might be 80K. Maybe I want to write a script that has 20K in it, and I can do that. 20K for 2 hours. That is you are exposing yourself to that one lick, that one idea, that one fucking chord, that one algo, specifically on the buy side. And you could have a soft stop in that. It's endless. These aren't named in those terms. I have the time, I have the range, and it's going to buy. Inside here, I try to stagger the entries. So this is going to be, I guess, a script video. Because this is the core, the engine of it. So I can throw it out there like spike strips. I got my limit banks in, and I made, for the last 40 hours, I just traded pure limits until this morning when I saw the market drop so violently, it fell into that hole. So things were getting all sideways and congested here. It was just like hemming and hawing, and there was all this up, down, up, down, up, down. And you could claim that that's distribution for that sell-off before it came down here and clobbered that area here. And it's an area, because if I were to try to pick the exact number, I just don't think I could. So here I have like a stagger. This is actually not. This is 40 pips, 80. Now I can make this 82. I can make this 38. If you make that 38, the next one there, and every time you hit the button, you're going odd and even or something, and you've got like a soft stop, which I do not have here. This is a hard stop at 28 pips. Now, this should be softer, right? Because I don't want to lose the whole fucking ticket, and this is a mistake I see I got to fix here. I'm always kind of tuning that up. Now, this is 3K, and I should write 3K on here. So I can keep track of like how much money is the account. If I hit these buttons and I wait for the news to come out, and I can afford to trade at 200K, and I know I'm risking with a 20 pip stop and risking $400, I go, you know, if I hit all these tickets, I'm down 400. But if interlaced into this, I have a take profit that's a scalp out of one of these tickets, and say these all got in within half a pip of each other. That's a whole different trade plan than if these get in 20 pips apart, and these are like manual grids. You know, this, you're going to come in and with a soft stop or a hard stop with a hard take profit. Now, I would never do a hard stop, hard take profit, because you kind of defeat the purpose of trading 1Ks on a press of a button where it launches 8 1Ks, Because now you could just look at your tablet or your computer and go, boom, 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 boom. I've seen this bullshit before. They're going to spike it down a little bit. Now, when they take it down, they see you come back to the floor, and you're like, oh, that doesn't look like that's a bottom becoming a top, and it's going to keep going down. Absolutely fucking not, because it went down so fucking hard. It went down on the 1 minute chart. There might be a double bottom on the 1 minute chart, and then they go ripping back up. So the markets are, I mean, the euro dollar is moving 30 pips in 1 hour and 15 minutes, no problem. So a 15-minute script and a half-hour script that are, say, 40 pips deep in the market, you might even get filled on that. But the news comes out, and then, markets open, and then people come in because nobody's coming. Somebody comes in because nobody's coming in. There's nothing going on. The stops are stacking up from all the protection bots or the stop bots. And once they trip the wire on those, it creates a cascade. You come into a hole, a vacuum, a distant, kind of a rare price, and you smack that. You can see it on the tick chart. You'll see a very violent, like the tick chart looks like the Corona sell-off. It has that look where it's smashed down, dead cat bounce, and sometimes a little more smashed down, sometimes a V bottom. It'll be different every time, but you can kind of sense it on the tick chart. Down, you're like, wow, man. And then time doesn't even seem to, I have no vision of time. I'm not looking at the clock. I'm looking at the behavior of it, and I'm thinking, yeah, this would be a time to step in and buy it like that. And then you're like, oh, man, if you just bought the right amount, you felt comfortable, that's kind of where you have to live. Because I think if you get in too heavy, like if you buy a car that's too expensive, turns out it cost a mint to fix it, you got a cheap car that's breaking down, you got to be somewhere in the middle. I don't know who's buying. Like, if you're trading Forex because you want to buy the McLaren and you think, oh, that'd be the answer to happiness. I thought it was a hollow victory for myself, but I mean, I tried those kind of things and felt very awkward, but maybe that's just because I'm just not used to the, I don't know, I feel like you're in a movie or something, but I don't want to be on some stage about it, like, here, look at that. So, I'm not selling anything, and I've got this fucking ranting channel here. I just share what I know. It's like you have to have this sense of, like, well, for me, how to make incremental decisions. So I went short today a little bit, and I'm short while I'm long, so I'm in a hedge. And it makes your brain, it forces you to say, oh, I guess I don't care. But see, I care too much, and I'm too stubborn. So if I have to compromise, I just get so annoyed by that. Like, I'm not wearing a mask, right? I'm almost ready to take off more clothing. Like, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm thinking about, like, actually putting funnels in my nose and going out and just like, dude, can I get more? Like a turbo booster mask. Like a mask that's not a mask. It's just like a fucking inhaler. Can I just get an inhaler? Can I go the other way? And so a part of me wants to be completely contrarian. I don't really appreciate somebody telling me to wear a mask. And so far, nobody's asked me. And if they do, I'll be like, well, then if I do that, I'll be hurting all the deaf people. And they'll say, why do you say that? Because they can't read my lips, see? When I tell them, get the fuck out of my way, you deaf motherfucker. So, I don't want to be mean, but I got in a fight with somebody about it. I'm just sick and tired of people acting like they're going to live forever. I don't know how we got to this fucking point, dude, where people are like, well, we're going to unravel the lockdown. Dude, you did the lockdown to fucking stop the surge at the hospital. Now you want to babysit us? Like, you want to, what? Wait, you said we got to do that to curve the influx in the hospitals because we can't handle this shit. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're the government. We're here to help you. Well, God, hospitals got fucking, do you know what a certificate of need is? You have to just look that up and you just go, oh, I see why there's a fucking problem. How about the U.S.? How about all these? How about the Farmers Association? How about the school administrations? Do you need this shit? Nobody needs this in their life, do they? This shit's not working, is it? Come on, don't be ridiculous. So we all know there's a problem. And I guess this is the wake up call to live your own life. I don't. It's I just people say, "What about this, Albert Brooks?" I don't know because, dude, I watch it and I go, "Fuck, I could never trade like that." Not millionaires. Not knowing how I feel about being in any one single decision like that. So there's this guy I talked to once, and he's like, I want to I want to go and trade I want to go from a 50K to a 100K. Like, why would you do that? That's like taking two cars and making a big fat car that handles like shit. No, I think the key is having a fleet of small cars, or maybe have a couple big fucking Hummer shits in there or something stupid. But I think that the key is to have, admit that I don't really like to. I want the market to come to me, and this is where the patience comes in. Now, I guess you can't. People say, "Oh, you have to have patience." Yeah, but about what? So, are you waiting to get filled, or are you waiting to take a profit? Even being in the market, waiting to take a profit is kind of a different kind of disturbing than not being in the market and thinking you're missing it. So, if you have to be in the market, the trick is buy a 1K or sell a 1K at the market and just go, "Okay, dude, I'm sure. Let's see how this feels," and then you could even trade against yourself. Because if you're not going to let the robot trade, and you're going to trade like jaywalking, you're going to look at the traffic and determine, is it safe to cross the road? Because if you drive like a fucking automated car that can read all the fucking maps and it knows everything, what if they plant a new tree? Like, it's not, or what if something doesn't look right? Can this thing sense if the roads are what? I don't know about these self-driving cars, but if you can sense that it's probably foggy out, or the humidity levels, maybe the car knows. I don't know. I like having a robot trade it, but like I said, I would build a volatility bot that responded to. So the market moves 100 pips, and it buys one ticket, 1K at the market. So you'd have like 100 fucking robots. Different schemes, but then hey, like there's Asia. It's quiet. It's gonna go quiet. It's gonna go up and down, and it's playing a song. It's gentle, and then it's roaring. It's the most inconsistent thing in the world. So people want to put moving averages on. Let's tame this down. Take the noise out, dude. It's all noise. It's just fractal. So it looks like. I mean, this could be a crude oil chart on the monthly. It could be anything, people are getting pissed at me here. So I kind of got all pissed off and went off on people. So, yeah, sorry you had to see that. So I gave a big fight with this people, the Corona thing. We can tell we've reached the climax here. But, so the scripts to me is a way to feather into the trade on limits. I can put in, I've got this ticket here that's going to buy 2 to 4 pips deep with a 12 pip stop. It's a 5K, and underneath that I'm putting in a 3 to 12 pip deep with a 32 pip stop. Now this is my favorite. It's a half-hour script, which means I'm asking the market to drop at a rate of change of, let's say a pip a minute, right? So a pip a minute would be 60 pips in an hour. And if you look at these charts, you'll find that there's times when that's totally going to happen. Like you say, oh, it actually happens. And how many times does it happen? Now here, it's actually going up harder than that. In 1 hour, you went up like fucking 80 pips. I mean, it was unbelievable. Did you see this shit today? So if I go to the 5-minute chart, and I condense down. So 15, there's not enough room. So this move here, this is 15 minutes straight down. If I put it in, as this is dropping, and I'm running in front of this, I got to come in with, let me put up a 10 pip grid so you can see the actual, how many pips we're talking about here, because I like 10 pips. So this is easy. I like metric shit. That's why $1,000 count, risk 10%, that's $100. Okay, you're risking money. You're risking $100. That's very strict to think like that. So I'm really thinking like, God, instead of trading a standard lot, why don't I trade a 1K with a 50 pip stop and risk $5 instead of risking $100 on one fucking trade? Because I'm so good at trading. And when I get really good, I'm going to trade 50K. I'm straight 500K on one ticket. God, really? How much try to make? $1,000 or 40,000 with a $10,000 stop? You know, I mean, dude, when you say blow up the account, how much fucking money's in this account? It's like Corona numbers, man. Don't do Corona numbers on me. This Corona number shit. We're going to write this as a Corona death? You commit suicide? How in the fuck? They say that the Chinese are lying about their numbers. Who's not lying about their fucking numbers? God damn it. Am I living in the most dishonest motherfucking world on the planet? Am I just the only guy that's like, yeah, I didn't steal anything today. I didn't kill anybody today. Can I just, hey, can I go to the store past 8 p.m.? What in the fucking fuck is going on out there, people? Get the fuck together and stop with the fucking masks. What do you think you're a fucking Chinaman? If I see another fucker with a mask on, I know what the fuck to tell you. I'm going to put an inhaler mount on my fucking face. It says spit here. How about a fucking funnel? You know, how about a big fucking inlet? How about I'll hit a button on the side. Yeah, a little Bluetooth fucking triggered goddamn turbo blaster. Supercharger. Oh, yeah. Let me take in this whole aisle here. Wow. Hey, anybody got a fucking temperature? Come here. Okay. I'm going to do my own immunity here. What do you think a vaccine is, dumb shit? It's the fucking thing. It's some correlate. Are we retarded? I feel so bad. Like every motherfucker on the planet is this chick from South Carolina winning the fucking Miss America. And some people, everybody turned into her. Some people, USA, like some people. I'm so sad, man. It's so sad. But what did you think was going to happen? Oh, God. Look at this fucking market. Look at oil. Look at all this shit. So I see the gas. I see the party's over. We got a double bottom in oil on the 4-hour chart. I noticed the gas pump. I hope you loaded up while the getting was good. This is the 4-hour floor. Another thing is, do you really think this is going to come down now? Look at the fucking volatility in that 4-hour. That's when it went to below $37 a barrel. Get the fuck out of here, you idiots. And we're not getting any help from the fucking news media. It's just a headline clickbait piece of dumb shit. It's just dumb shit. Man, there's no depth. I used to watch YouTube and I could watch fucking MIT fucking lectures. I'm like, dude, I've saved myself to. And these professors are like, they comb their head with a fucking egg beater and they can stand in front of blackboards. They're fucking these giant rolling blackboards. Look at this motherfucker. It's going to engulf. And what's going to happen when it gets to here? The round 30 handle. Can you believe that's $20 down here on the 4-hour chart? What the double bottom? That Kill Stokes is a fucking idiot. I said, why don't you just put a buy limit here? Well, you don't know if that's good. You don't fucking know anything. You just put the order there, dude. It makes it a double bottom entry on limit. It proves itself. Doesn't it? You don't know if it's good. You don't know shit. Oh my God, these people. It's the Alex Stokeses and the Jason Stapletons. These people, you know what? Go sign up with those people. Knock yourself out. I did. Not with those people. I felt like the people I learned from were fucking the real goddamn fucking world. You know, this was one on YouTube, some douchebag with a goddamn, I'm from the Trading Academy. I can't tell you how to size a position. I won't even tell you the trade I'm doing. Like, I won't even tell you what I show you how to trade or not about execution. We're just talking fucking like ICT. He's talking platitudes. I don't know. Somebody say something like ICT. Maybe because I don't know, from the Midwest. I don't know. I guess I sound like that. Okay, Dr. Kim Rock. I don't know. I got this war going with people. So I don't know. I like to fucking mix it up, as they say. But it's tremendously disturbing to have built an algorithm like these poor guys at no nonsense. I mean, I get that you want to have the perfect girl that has the perfect dimensions. It's not going to happen. I know this girl that she talks at such a high pitch. I think I'm going to have to get like a wear earbuds that take notch filter out that one fucking. Why? I know she's nervous, but the nervouser she gets, the higher her pitch voice gets. That's why I guess guys turn gay. They're like, dude, could you talk a little lower? I guess the other guy's too gay. And he's a high pitch voice. I guess I'm sensitive to audio. I'm sensitive to all this shit. I'm a hypersensitive person. YouTube's maybe not the best place for me because I'm like, oh, really? Fuck you. No, fuck you. Like, I don't know what this person's talking about. The grid, 10 pips. Now, his is $10 on crude oil. Look, when this thing went through the $50 floor, now it kind of does matter, but it doesn't. I think crude oil has a more so-called respect for the round number. I mean, this is a big deal, 50. This bottom becomes a top at 50. But there's also a bottom that becomes a top on a fractal level. It's not on the 50. You know, this didn't bounce off of a round number here before it collapsed. But positioning your orders, your limit orders positioned in a certain manner. So if I'm going to put the sell limits up, I think I got to find, if I'm going to place them on the structures, I got to go, you know what? This whole area here is seller's window. If we pop up there, we know it's going to be a seller's window. But how do we place the tickets? Well, I find the best is to sell a 1K. Now this is going to be a martingale grid based on structure, not based on just fucking every 10 pips, because that's just stupid. It doesn't take into account what's really driving the market. So when we come down here in the euro, what is the fuel for? I'll go back to the other time frame. So what's the fuel for that big move? Is the it comes down here, picks this up, and you get to rip up. We had the same thing today. You just don't see it close down there. But it's the same thing. Come back, pick up all those tickets. But you can't count on that, because if you had a buy limit here, I can show you how it doesn't work. You got buy limits here, never got filled. God damn it, dude. We're just being too conservative. No shit. So you got to have tickets that are like 5 pips deep. How about every 5 pips? So you're running these. If in the Ryan bot world, it's throwing out, actually his thing's kind of just doing it at the market as it comes into that price, whereas mine just, all the tickets are laying there. I can see them constantly. It's better than a robot because I can see, oh, dude, that's going to be a great plush area to catch a falling knife with 150K and maybe only fill 70K. I've set up to capture that, and then as soon as it retraces, I got scalps built into all of these tickets. Not all of them, but some of the tickets are scalps and some are swings, and I'm going to buy at the market where the 50 pips stop. So I'm fulfilling all the different kind of categories. Even if I'm trading in one direction, I have the ability to place a buy limit 5 pips deep that lasts 4 hours. Do you think I'll get filled on that ticket? Probably, because the market typically can move around 10 pips just doing the noise is your friend, because it's going to pick you up on that shallow ticket. But can you live off that? You can't put a standard lot like that. So it destroys the whole idea that there is any one way to trade. Trade all three. Trade the goober entry, buy stop confirmation, trade at the market because the market's down, you buy and pullbacks, and trade the limit that's below your market order. So if you buy at the market, put a limit in because they're going lower. They're going to go lower. They ain't going to turn around. Just because you went down, you bought. So it destroys that. When I say every hour it's down, buy in a bull market. What if it goes down 3 hours? Well, now you're going to buy you're going to buy at the market and put a limit in, buy at the market, put a limit in. When you buy at the market, when it's just moved down, like it just doubled its speed all of a sudden. This is watching it live. Now you got to buy at the market with a wide stop and put a limit in deeper. Do you got that ticket available? You should. So that's how you do it. You have to have that ticket available and be able to pull the trigger on that. And that's the problem. Because if I don't, that's why I have that tablet, because I'm sitting here babysitting this thing all day and I go, oh yeah, I'm buying that. That's a fucking buy right there. So I get in and I get out and I just trade the euro dollar, and I can see at the top of the hour's coming and they're screaming up 30 pips, and this thing's moving a lot lately. I can just do that. But today was epic. Epic smash and grab, epic engulf, auction, whatever you want to call it here. You come down, you take out the low of this thing, you come into the mid lows of the previous day, you rip up. It was just blistering, right? You couldn't even. So when we come to here's where the scalpers are supposed to get out at the floor, right? They're going to get out there. Now that was a good 30 pip trade, a 20 pip trade, clean. But once it got to here, and if you could have seen the 5-minute chart during this phase, that's 30 pips in 15 minutes. That's insane. Now, if you're trying to sell into that, wow, I don't know why you'd even think you could, because you got to look at the weekly chart or the daily chart on this one. Get a load of this giant vacuum that is just an epic situation here. Like, how often do you see this stuff happen, right? It's pretty rare shit, I think. Let me. Well, who's ever seen this shit? This is Corona. This is volatility. Market heats up, down, up, down. If it goes up, it's going down. If it goes down hard, it's going up hard. You just have to accept that. And that would also mean that you'd have to have these trade plans available to you. Most people don't have that trade plan available. And it's just, when I say plan, I mean choosing a stop and to take profit. But who's going to trade for peanuts on 1Ks? Well, I don't see why not. If you don't mind trading like 250K on 1Ks, which is not that hard to do, if you're just pressing a button, like right now I'm already in 40K. I'm just buying this as it goes up. Into the London Open, there's probably going to be one last move in this up move. And here we're coming up on the dailies. Who could stand in front of this vacuum and really think that you weren't going to get clobbered by this? I know this is probably not available to no nonsense because you can't understand structure and support and resistance, but this top, okay, here is a unique, a new high. If we go and draw that to the right, we know that this is going to be resistance, right? And if I draw it from the body, top body, and just the wicks, I can see that is the sell window. This is about almost a 20 pip window here of selling. So you could run every 1 pip, you could sell a 1K with a 20 pip stop and not get, you do the math. And so it's a 20K with a 20 pip stop. It's not that bad. And you could have targets that are going to exiting here, right? This is going to be where you want to get out. Because the buyers are coming in here. Here they come. Buy, 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 buy. And this daily chart, same thing we saw today, fractally speaking, on the other chart. Right? So same stuff, just different. And this battle's going on. Well, there's sellers galore above here, and they will be selling like crazy up there. So I'm going long here into that, and I could sell on some of that maybe. That's the other thing. Do I put sells in? Well, I got a couple I've been working on that's going to put 8Ks in, and it's going to lay them in from 20 to 40 pip ranges, and they're going to overlap. And that's why I'm trading so small, because I might put 180K and only get filled on 80K, but that's fine with me. That's still good money. And if I see the market's not coming back, and some of those are swing trades and some are scalps, and that's going to be, well, how do you balance that out? Well, that's where the work is. How many colors do you mix before you paint? Well, you're supposed to paint on the canvas. In other words, you mix it on the canvas, bring it over. If you mix it too much on the sidelines, bring it in, then you end up with just very bland looking things, but you get more contrast. If you put the tickets in, and they have their own unique function. So here, you could say from a body breakout standpoint, and like on this chart, I could show you all the winning trade strategies. Presuppose you could handle the risk, but put a buy stop here, sell stop here because this is a small bar, and you just get into the market and buy and sell at the market with a tight stop. This one actually makes more money because you're going to lose a leg as a breakout confirmation of, right, you're going to lose a leg because if you buy and sell at the market, that trade plan, that hedge is a technique, and it's also a psychological situation because you're saying, you know what, I don't know. Because if you knew, wouldn't you just buy? But what if it's going to keep going down? Because a lot of people could make, it wouldn't be hard with all the books you could read about this shit, that it's going to start to keep tanking because it's holding this trend line, and I'm selling here, and can't you see that they trap the bulls here, and see they're pulling it down, and it's going to tank, and that could have well happened. There's nothing to guarantee that wouldn't happen because it's happened before. But every bar is so unique on here, and the trade plans so your doji trade plans, here you would get in the market, and you would just trade directionally or non-directionally here, and this is a perfectly valid place to get in. With multiple tickets, of course, because maybe they take you out of some of these. You'd have to have multiple tickets, at least 10 different stops to really trade this to make it worth your while on most systems, especially the daily. I mean, this is a gold mine as far as if you can see this vacuum. Okay, so let me just start over with these lines in here. So if you can see this vacuum, like, oh, fuck. I pressed the wrong button. Okay. So here, this there's quite a bit going on in this daily chart. 10 pip grid, and if we only traded dojis, we have a trade here. It could be non-directional here, and here and here. Those are the only trades from the doji bot's standpoint, or that signal. That's set up. And we got the right now, I guess, well, we haven't completed this bar. Now, this is a huge bullish move, and that used to kill me about that stuff. Well, this is a big bear candle. The bears are in charge. I'm like, okay, then should I sell? Well, wait till they're really in charge and sell here, see. Because this confirmation that the bears are in charge. Oh, okay, I got you so far. Well, why am I losing? Oh, because I guess they pulled that back. Well, why did they do that? Because when they touched these wicks, that 10 pips, that triggered buying, just like this, triggered that buy. That's what made that move so brutal, because it came back and it did a deep dive into this looming vacuum. And then this whole vacuum is looming this whole time. And once we took this out and this, I was like, wow. Right? Because that is the 109 is here, and this is 108. And we kept banging on it, right? So we kept banging on it. And then the market opened today. And this is when it came into the mids of that previous day, right? So on the other chart, the mids of that previous day is about here. It never made it to here. This is why you could have buy limits here. Just like you could have a buy limits here. You said, well, why didn't that trade work? I put buy limits in. You can't say out of context stuff like, well, I every time I do this with my hand, my car starts. Yeah, but you don't have a key in your hand right now. I know, but every time I do this move, it has to be connected to something. And of course, in this analogy, the market is like having 5 different cars. Each ticket is its own car with its own key, and that's why Sam Seidel decided it was easier to just bullshit trading courses. I don't know, or whatever he's being sued for. And that's why Stapleton's just going to put on a dumb shit 2% of a. And that's what I don't understand. 2% of a $100,000 account. Why? Really? Well, yeah, we would do one trade a week here. No, would you sit down for a second? Let me explain what we're doing here. We're a prop firm. And we'll let you trade one ticket a week. You got to pick a good entry if you can. You've seen that thing, that Anton whatever with the these goobers off the street are trading, and these one guy's shitting his pants, the other one's just blowing the account. It's so cute, but it's just like a fucking drama show. But is that what trading is? Entertainment? I don't know. Is it like getting a hooker? So, yeah, you can make as much money as you want, but you still got to risk, right? You still got to put some type of. You can't win every trade, and are you really going to bank everything on even a cluster of entries here? That's the other thing, is even if we got in a 40 pip window, 1 pip apart of 40K, the market smashes down. Imagine placing buy limits. I know it's inconceivable. Placing buy limits 1 pip apart, and the market comes into these holes here, and you're like, holy shit. Well, we got into a 50K. Look at that. But then where are we going to get out? Do we have a stop that's 50? Do we have I would say, imagine this, 10, 15, 20, 30, all the way up to 50 pip stop. And target-wise, you're going to, the one that's, just to keep it simple, the one that's risking 5 is going to make 10. The one where 10 makes 20. The run on and on, right? So the 50 makes 250 or whatever. You're still not going to be satisfied because you go, oh, fuck, we should have loaded up heavier on that fucking big long ticket. And you could do that in watching the market as you're babysitting, because then you can do those, oh, got to pull the trigger on this and add to this position. I'm already in on limits. But this is fucking amazingly. I can just sense it's going to come ripping back through the other side of the door. It went down, and I guess it's a fake breakout for the confirmation people that are trapped on the short side as it caves into some void. They're like, oh yeah, this thing's going to break down. This thing's going through the floor. Yeah. Okay, it went through the floor, but it stopped going through the floor, and if you're able to pull the trigger on that, and you could just, I don't recommend trading while driving, but you pull over and you're like, dude, I got to get in this trade. And that presupposing you have a button to press to do that, because I wouldn't say, oh, right mouse click, new order. It's too late. It's too fucking late. When the market's smashing around, it's too late for that trade. But if you're trading 1Ks, maybe you get 20K going. But then you have to say, I'm buying at the market. Every time I buy at the market, I got to buy on a limit 10 pips deep. Now I got to buy at the market with a 50 pip stop. I put an order in, and you could attach that to the market order. So I could say market limit ticket maybe. And once you figure that, okay, well, what's the point of trading at the market now? If I'm going to put the limit in, why don't I just put an array of limits in and just sit back and see if they come into my limits, and getting that sized right, and you are catching a falling knife. But with 100 fingers, because you got 100K on 1Ks, and maybe that's 10K per trigger pull. 10 trigger pulls is a standard lot. And if they're all unique entries and unique exits, if a soft stop across the board and a soft target across the board, and they completely, so keeping those tickets from clustering and stacking up, it's okay if they cluster, but I don't want to repeat any entries, because I'm just repeating a bad trade. So diversification is the king, because you don't have this, these scopes and rifles are no good in a street fight. You can't maneuver these things. That's that Gartley view of trading, though. I'm a sniper, don't you understand? I don't know. I can't imagine. I got to see a trade to do that. I mean, I see Hilton trade. He's down fucking $5,000 out of the gate, and then he makes $20,000. I'm like, dude, I can't trade like that. You're in the trade for fucking 15 minutes. I'd shit my pants. I'd be like, dude, there's no stop on it. I mean, the way he's doing, he has no stop. 180. He's got $153,000 in the account, no stop. Now, I don't ever see him. Now, not everybody's going to post, even if they trade like that. Who's to say they're not posting their losing trades? And so I've blown up accounts. Actually, yeah, this is how you blow up an account. Like I know how to ramp it up, just like this fucking Ryan bot blew this thing up. I would say pretty good. And it stopped selling into that. I don't know if it ran on a margin. I have the margin limit set maybe. And but I'm comfortable with the a blend of, and now that I'm doing the sell limits, which I'm not good at selling at all because I keep thinking I'm trading the stocks, but I would say, and it's also hard because unless you can accept the fact that you're going against your, not on limits necessarily, because if you put your sell limits above and you long the market, what you're saying is that when I hit my targets, I want to reverse and go the other way. Whereas if you sell at the market and buy at the market, people are like, dude, like make up your mind. Well, you don't have to if the risk ratios make sense for that. But this is very complex because it's very detailed. Every ticket, in my opinion, has a purpose. Like, what is that designed to do? If it's a 50 pip stop, it's designed for the end of the world you're saying, I'm going to give this thing fucking room. Why so much room? Are you going to be wrong about that trade? Well, Ryan Brown is right. Yeah, the loser will become a winner at some point. But if in that basket, in that cluster, you already have pre-programmed, you're not waiting for the market to retrace. You already have a hard exit for some of these tickets to scalp it. And maybe there's a bad ratio on a few of them. But all or nothing thinking is too dangerous for these markets, because then you're saying, well, I got a bias. I think it's going up. I'll go long. But hey, if you put a buy limit in deep, you're saying, I hope they go short. I hope people sell. I hope people sell into my buy limit. So it's very bizarre because you're rooting for the other team to fill you, whereas if you buy at the market, you're hoping nobody comes against you. There isn't some guy like Mark Douglas says, it only takes one guy somewhere in the world to blow up your trade plan, because you're sitting there and all of a sudden Payne Weber pulls a trigger, and kind of hard to do on Forex, but enough people, and that's why I think that when people see, or the robots see, and robots probably can't see the vacuum in the sense that actually they don't need to see the vacuum. They see a fucking 30 pips in 30 seconds and they go, whoa, let's get in there. Let's get in because of that giant move. And other people are putting on hedges and they have stops. I'm just imagining everybody trading and it actually being displayed in the price action, because all those trade plans are working simultaneously and they all make sense and they're all winning trade plans for that moment, for that move. So, but they're all only winning trade plans because you're on the right side of that move, right? You're in the right direction of that move. What is the biggest move on that chart? You're going to say, well, if it was an up move, you'd say if I was in that market and I had bought and it went up hard, wow, that is a nice trade. Or went down hard for the sellers. So it's, when is it your turn to come in? So if you are a buyer, you're going to have to wait till the sellers are done, ideally. But waiting means, when you say waiting, it sounds like you're trading at the market then, because if you have limits, you're waiting for them to smash into your limits. So it's a different approach, because you're psychologically directing it. If you're trading at the market, you're kind of doing it on the fly, where the limits, what you're saying is that I set a trap, or I'm going to catch this reversal area. It's like dominoes. You set up the dominoes, where trading at the market is like being a sniper. You got your scope, you got your Gartleys, and I'm assuming these people are getting at the market. Otherwise, wouldn't the Gartley just tell you, hey, put a limit here and walk away? Do you need to babysit the Gartley? Yeah, you do. I guess this Carney guy has got the fucking things updated in real time. Well, it's the Gartley scanner, so it takes the latest data in, like the corona deaths, you say. And we're working on the, if you look at the charts of the people dying and being infected, you can see this. It looks just like a fucking any old stock that goes through. And maybe it continues on and more people die. Maybe it'll just be something The new normal, you know. I'm just ready to die. I see another mask because I'm thinking, how did people fall for this shit? I was at the store today and I just wanted to go home. It's so depressing. I thought, really, you're gonna wear a mask? And then I thought it was like a Halloween. This chick had some goof. Oh, isn't that cute? You have like a kitty mask. Is this the new thing? I don't know. That's just making me sick. Every time I just pissed off, I can't even believe what I'm seeing. Really? God fucking heaven, man. Grow the fuck up, people. You know, lick a fucking doorknob. Look at Korea and Japan have had second waves. Yeah, it's called getting sick again, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. Second waves. Dude, I'm ready to get fucking... Nobody's dying here. There's 330 million fucking Americans, and there's 70,000 dead. Every year. Dude, 175,000 people die every day on the planet. Every day. The accumulated deaths in America are set. Dude, that's not from Corona. It's just from people dying. God, man, I can't even fucking believe it. I appreciate your sincerity, but yeah, the word "but's" never good. Juice box. Who calls themselves juice box? Why am I even on the internet? I ask myself. Just give me some lawn darts. God damn it. Fuck this shit. So, what a fucking move today. Just like this down move. There's so many ways to trade this shit. Yeah, if you want to sell new highs, that's going to be the lowest risk trade. It's very counterintuitive. Just keep selling. Going against the you're waiting for it to come smashing down. I mean, you're anticipating the fill here. When you buy this thing, let's hope that you put buy limits here. You started getting filled, and you're like, oh boy. And then you bought the market because it was down. If you didn't scalp out of something here, this is why you have to have built into this thing the little baby winners. And that's the only way you're going to survive it. Is baby trades. Like, who's doing paintings with, oh, I just do one painting a month. You should see my paintings. They're amazing. Sorry, they're not. And Singapore had the worst second wave. Did they really? I'm so glad. These people, because the data came. It's not a wave, dumb shit. They're coding this stuff. I'm ready to die. Send me some fucking Corona, please, somebody. Send me your Kleenex. Use Kleenex, please. I'm ready to go. God, really? I'm not going to go out. That's what I'm doing. It's not going to go out. I'm down. I'm using $700 of margin here. I'm getting clobbered by the Ryan bot. Oh, well. Easy come, easy go. No, I don't think robots are the answer because you cannot beat handmade shit. And the flexibility of having all of these ideas that you can run in the market simultaneously. Because getting that size right for what's going on, I don't think it's any different than figuring out you're in a car, you're coming up on a curve. How fast can I take this curve? So it is like kind of like race car driving. How big can I trade this price pulse or this one move in the market and really make money because I can see this trade coming. I can see the turn I'm on. And if you're oversized, you're going too fast for the turn and you feel uncomfortable. And now it affects your driving because now you're going to be hoping that your tires are going to grip. When if you just kind of take it at the posted speed with your mask on and risk just 2% of your account, even though there's $1 million in your account. But $1 million in your account, those are big trades, right? $1 million in your account, 2% of your account, right? So I still never understand why people say 2% of the account. Because if you have a $1,000 account, it's kind of hard to make money. You know, you got to work hard. But if you're in 10% and risk $100, I think you could rationalize $100 a week. You trade 100 1Ks a week, and fuck, you should be able to at least make $100, right? 10 pips. With you're right 80% of the time. You have a 20 pip stop to make 10 pips. I'm sure there's a number for how much money that would make. And so I have dynamic sizing. I might be in a 1K, no K. When the market makes a big move, I just get out and go flat, and then I come back in with limits. That's just my I want to flatten the account when the end of the session's over and there's no volatility left. So why don't I just get out? Because we could tumble. We're probably going to fall out of bed or rise up in Asia. Market climaxes in U.S. session. Goes sideways. Gets drifty, and it's quiet coming into the European Open. And I'm not going to try to guess the overall target because I know that I can make money on a half-hour basis and a 1 hour basis because the market's fluctuating like 15 pips every hour at least. And it starts to heat up and become very violent later on. And a lot of times I had to put some 50 pip stops in here, and it sounds like a big stop, but it's just a 1K, and I thought, well, I got to run them today. So I ran 50 pip stops on this plunge. And that's kind of risky. I mean, you hit that thing 10 times, and all of a sudden, wow, you're like, okay, 40 times. And then you're like, nah, it's like, every time I hit that button, it slows me down too because it's a 1K. So I'm actually going boom, 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 and then I'm like, oh boy, it's coming back. Now I can wait and buy at the market, or I can throw a limit. So trading at the market is a different kind of waiting than waiting for the limit to fill. So it's another psychological aspect is what do you feel comfortable doing? Would you rather downshift or hit your brakes? And say, oh, here comes London Open. We could get crazy. Maybe you're going to put on a hedge at the market. It depends who you are. It's I think people that are selling courses on like, oh, we're trend traders here, and you know what trend traders do? Yeah, I mean, like if I can know the direction, I trade in the direction of the trend. Is that how that works? Yeah, that's it. How did you fucking know that? Here's your $5,000 back. Damn it, I can't teach you nothing. You know it all. Look, if it's going up, I want to buy. Yeah, I don't know it's going up. Well, now that's a problem because we're going to break out the 50 period moving average and they'll give us a bias. You mean like a baseline? Yeah, but not like a baseline on an album, like a CD base, like a music baseline. No, son. This should be like a guide, like a 20 EMA. Yeah. I mean, you can see how people cherry pick that data. You know, they're like, yeah, can't you see this entry? Yeah, I see it, but dude, what about all the other shit? And not to mention, have you ever been in like 2 standard lots waiting for the market to fucking move in the direction that you consider the trend? Anybody ever do that? I don't mean 200K on single tickets with individual stops and take profits. I mean one fucking button press. You're like, wow, we were just up like $40. I mean, I could have got out, and now I'm down 180. I don't know if I like this trading idea. And this is why these people that sell these courses, yeah, okay, you could do those trades, but how do you find time to teach the course and trade? I mean, who has time to teach sex classes and get laid? Like, that's, I guess, why people film their sex antics. It's like a crash course in the way we have sex here. I think trading's kind of like having sex. Because you're really risking, especially in sex, right? I mean, oh, put your clothes back on. I don't think we can have sex now. Yeah, can I just get a photograph of you for later? I don't know if I want to be with you. I didn't know your breath was bad, like on the Tinder thing. I didn't notice. Something's different. Markets are just betraying people all day long. I can't wait. I gotta go to the Discord tonight to see how people are liking this Corona. And are they shorting? The bear market was announced by no nonsense in the valley, the deep. You know, the market was all choppy, and he's so cute. He posted this how to trade a bear market right at the lows. Missed the whole retracement. Well, we don't trade reversals. And why is that? Because we're trend traders. God damn it. Do I have to write this down like that guy? And so some lady let her little daughter, go over and play with the other kids. The cops came to the door. And they're like, lady, do you need us to explain what this means by social distancing? She's like, no, I think I got it. Can you confirm that you understand that you got what we said? Yes, I understand. And then she's like, can you go now? And they're like, what's your last name? She goes, can you go now? I acknowledge my misbehavior. Do you really think a fucking 5-year-old's going to get corona? And if they do, oh well. Do we stop flying at jet planes when they fucking blow up? Don't forget, Boeing blew up 2 fucking planes and they knew they were going to blow up. Well, I know it's a conspiracy against people that fly. Can't you see what's going on out there? Oh my God, I'm ready to join the flat earth crowd. You can't compare the stupidity of people buying fucking toilet paper. And once again, I go to the store. Oh, the water's gone. Order imbalances all over the place. Created by the government. Yes, Sweden is in better shape. So these douchebags are talking about Sweden. Dude, Sweden is kicking our ass. They had the same fucking death toll. Yeah, so I like fighting with people. But if you can't beat them, join them. And the other thing about the hedging thing is also what Bill Williams says, which, since he's a non-directional trader in a way, he's just trading fractal breakouts. I do have a robot that's a martingale breakout thing. It's doing pretty good, actually. In the testing, I got it for free. I got the code and everything, and it just trades like the breakouts of Williams fractals, but you got to run it on the 15-minute chart, right? Because the 15-minute chart's a breakout of like the 4-hour bar. And it's aware of I think it's aware of how much the market's moved and stuff. But that's better than nothing, right? I mean, it's going to out-trade most people, but if you really think trading is this structure thing, and if you can accommodate the dynamics, because the market just moved 150 pips, and it's only going to do that once every, it may never do it again, like for 6 months. You're never going to see the market move like today in a long time. And it's the only thing that was cutting it. What was causing this move was this big void up here that we're itching to fill. Right? Isn't this obvious? As you come up here, right? Bam! I mean, that is just brutal. It cleans this out. And people probably did sell into that, but good luck if they, good luck up here, right? You already had your scalping opportunities. You can't see it in here, but there was a scalp in there. And there's another move like this on the 30-minute chart. And so you can't see it now. It's quieting down, and they're gonna finish off the week probably going after this high. The logical place to get in is Asia. If you think the market's going to keep going in, well, when it quiets down here, you're going to go to the time frame that you built your See, if you're going to trade 4-hour dojis, you just go to the 4-hour chart and you scan for dojis. I got my doji scanner. Yeah, what all these dojis? People say, yeah, but this is like a doji. This is a doji. Yeah, this is a gravestone doji. This is before this, but then, oh, the backlash. Ouch. Well, once it cleans out this, right, this is the big. So the 4-hour chart reveals why this is such a brutal move, because when they came back here, and don't forget, all the trend traders, they were right in the end. It's in an uptrend. Yeah, Jethro, it's going up, and I got a channel here. See, I drew my channel. I didn't account for this wick, man. So maybe you did buy at the market every time it came back. It bought at the market. At top became a bottom, kind of not so much. Here, a better top become a bottom. Here's your perfect setup, and this is why people think they're manipulating market, and they're ruining our setup. See, because this is a bottom becomes a top becomes a bottom, and I got in here just like the good book said, and I put a buy stop here, and now that actually would have triggered that buy stop, but if you put a sell stop here to protect yourself when you bought here, because at the end of that session you bought here, but lo and behold, the markets open up and bam. But this is a lower risk trade, right? Because you're buying this area to make what you perceive to fill this hole. And if you go to the 4-hour chart now, you'll see the key level here that shows up, key void. So now it looks, it's easier to see that slot here. And wow, they just carve into that. Pull back. If you're a trend trader or you think it's going to keep going up, you buy here. You'd also buy there with a tight stop because it's a shallow pullback at the far. There's one last price pulse left in here. Now, his robot is clueless to this shit. It keeps selling into that. I don't know. No, this will maybe buy limits here for my robot. Because my robot's running on another screen, so you can see my robot's different. It's just a static bot, really. It's just throwing in sell limits and buy limits. So if you scrunch down, we should see a rack of sell limits up there, but I don't know what happened. Oh, maybe I'm long on this. I don't know. Anyways, it's his guy. He's got a blind bot. Okay. We got one last drift up here tonight. A little bit left on the table. I don't think we're going to retrace. I don't think that I would stand in front of that void. We got a little bit left on the table to go up. It's going to be the kind of moment we're going to have here. It's 2 o'clock in the morning now. Europe's going to open up. We could still go up another 20, 30 pips here, amazingly. You know how these markets are. Once we get to here, it's going to be ferocious because look at that giant sea of nothing above us. There will be sellers galore above here, so maybe I'll reel my sell limits tonight. So I built a couple racks, like a 15 to 30 pips, 6Ks, 1 hours, 4 hours. Now these are all so unique. Like if I put sell limits up here that last for 8 hours and go to sleep, I'm counting on them ripping it up here and pulling it back in some manner. And if I put buy limits below here, expecting another plungeolas. So these plungeolas are really a gold mine. And the problem is they're all unique. There is no standard pullback situation, right? I mean, this is like, wow, look at this thing crush. It has to get to here before it reverses. And then this thing here, look at this thing. Fill this void. And when's it going to stop? Well, since that's the 4-hour chart, it's stopping along the way all the time. So it's very difficult. And look at this is the Corona punishment here. Look at this. Bam, bam. I mean, you couldn't even trade this with a fucking 20 pip stop. And if you're trading it with a 20 pip stop, are you putting in a 40 pip take profit? You almost have to trade it with a 40 pip stop with a 100 pip take profit. And you have to really open up the You trade less tickets with a wider stop, so risk the same amount of money, and you have to adjust that on the fly. Otherwise, what's the point? If you're gonna just put a movie, build some fucking bullshit that's never gonna work algorithm. I mean, it's never. I mean, you can't accommodate this drama. There's no way you can do it. Look at this fucking market. You can tell me, oh, I got this 4-hour. What, dude? Get a load of that fucking chart. And you could say stuff like, well, I drew a trend line here. See, let me show you how this works again. Were you paying attention to the last video? We broke the trend line. We bought right there. Okay, but what about the other times that it broke and it didn't keep going? And couldn't you just take that same trend line and keep drawing it tighter and tighter? Then which trade do you take? This is a fucking 4-hour chart. Look at this thing. I could draw a trend line like this. Am I going to wait for the break here and go, look, I bought dude, I hope you bought the break of this trend line. This is how I'm drawing. I've been drawing trend lines like this for ages because I can't wait to buy. So I got a trend line like this. Oh, let's break this one. Fuck that one. It goes back too far. In fact, with that concept, let's think about breaking this trend line right here. Just draw it across two tops. Look, it broke it. And it made a little walk north. So, like, that's very steep, right? It broke this one. It broke this trend line. People made money alongside for a little bit, but then smash it. This is the rollover point where momentum meets that turning point. And you could draw those trend lines and stuff. And once again, do you have a trade plan for that? Like, did you draw this trend line? They stopped you out. It's a perfect trend line. Because trends run on time. They don't run on wicks. There's no trend. There's a book by Trader Vic. It's like another $50 book. He draws his trend lines on wicks. I'm like, why would you do that? I think he does. I don't know if he does it like this. But that's the contention. Where do you draw a trend line? I say like that. Because if you draw it like this, that's a volatility line. That's not price over time. That's a moment in time. You destroyed time there when you draw a trend like that. So this one, like, so if I said, well, this is peaks, let me draw that across, and okay, there's no correlation. You could say, oh yeah, it finally crossed over and it found support. Great. Did you buy 500 standard lots there because of that one reason? Did you really say, oh, because of that? That's what's just perplexing about these guys with their fucking, well, what we're going to do here is when we see this double bottom, we buy. Yeah, but how much? And where's your target? Did you plan on making this much money? I don't think you did. Like, I'm sure people got out of this trade. Like, if you bought this beautiful smash and grab, which is just the same as this smash and grab, I mean, like, this comes down, new lows. Look at that rip up. Are you kidding me? On the 4-hour chart, dude, that's so much money. You can't see the trade inside of that because if you're looking at this move saying I should be on the short side, do you see the reversal money in there? It's amazing. New low, rip up. New lows, rip up. New low, up. New low, rip up 100 pips in 4 hours. About 6 hours there. And look at this one. Wow. One last move on the table. So I'm in here. And I know when London opens, I'm going to put my sell limits up there. So I'm going to play with the sell limits today because there's going to be another one of these moves. But I don't think we're going to see a move like this again because this was fueled by that void. In my opinion, this void had to fill hard, real hard. And there was a lot of people on the long train. And this was just like it fizzled here. We got a little bit of this is low volume. News had come